and welcome to this video of my first ever win in oval racing. You can see me here, the #1 car, sporting my beautiful self-made Royal Mail paid job. Yeah, this is only my 9th ever oval race and the first time I'd ever driven at this track, the Southern National Motorsports Park. All my previous races were on USA International. This one obviously much shorter, a 16-second lap. Yeah, so I was absolutely thrilled to get the victory here, and I thought it was quite an interesting race. So I thought I'd run through it on channel. So as the race starts, I will switch to the trusty far chase camera. So I immediately get mugged off by the number 3 car, Mick there. He gets a fantastic launch. I have to admit I haven't really got the hang of this yet. And as you can see, I'm immediately on the defensive from Andrew behind. I mean, Mick's really making moves there. He gets past Jimmy also. It's really pushing hard. Well, so we've lost one position. That's not too bad. I've done worse. Survived, which in street stock, yeah, nothing to be sniffed at. This is the second tier, by the way, so it's a reasonable standard. The second tier of 7. It's not the busiest time before the Americans get on, but it's more than enough splits. I mean, I'm the #1 car, but almost everyone around me is 1.4k rated, so it doesn't really say much. You can't remember in these. So we have our first incident here, and there's a little bit of afters here.
Really, dude?
You go in the corner so wide, what do you expect me to do? Just sit and wait for you? You leave a gap there, I'm going to put my nose in there.
Nah, it's really just called throttle control, if you ever heard of it.
I'll show you throttle control next time you come by, buddy, yeah?
So yeah, a little bit of afters there. I'm not exactly sure.
Nah, it's really just called throttle control.
I didn't catch everything that Mick said here.
You go in the corner so wide, what do you expect me to do? Just sit and wait for you? You leave a gap there, I'm going to put my nose in there.
Yeah, so Mick believes that, what's his name? Is it Elijah? Yeah, Elijah. He believes that he has drifted out wide. Mick has put his nose in, as he is entitled to do so, and Elijah has come back and taken him out. So let's have a little look at this from chase cam. So we'll go for cockpit. So we're seeing what Mick's seeing. Watch it full speed. Yep, Elijah is wide. He puts his nose in. That is an interesting one. I think it would probably go down as primarily Elijah's fault. Because if you have your nose alongside, you are entitled to that space. But on the other hand, from a self-preservation point of view, I think if I was Mick, I would put my nose in there. It's pretty obvious what the ideal line is. He's not going to get a shot on the spot in time. And it's not an egregious error by Elijah. So,
Really, dude?
okay, so back with me at 2 places gained. So in 4th, nearly a second back from Jimmy ahead. Absolutely incredible. I'll show you throttle control in a minute. That sounds quite ominous. I really don't know what throttle control's got to do with it. It's all about positioning of the car, in my opinion. So there's a really good battle going for the lead between Mark and Wade up ahead. So, I'm not really gaining on Jimmy. I'm not really being caught by Andrew at this point. So we'll fast forward a little bit. Now you can see in the bottom corner there, not much really happening. I'm hoping that the three in front will get into a fight, which isn't really happening. They're racing really, really well. Yeah, if anything, I'm getting left more and more in my own little zone here. However, at this point, Jimmy does get onto the back of Mark, and now all three of them are racing for the lead, and we are coming up to some back markers. Very, very short tracks. This is happening very quickly within 4 minutes of the start. You know, I mean, Wade might even be picking up a little bit of slipstream from them. Speed things up a little bit again. Yeah, they're racing so closely together. And we have a spinner up ahead. This is Mick, again, possibly rattled from that contact with Elijah before. So what happens to our friend Mick? So number 10 ahead loses it. And, I mean, in my opinion, he really has to be more aware than that. I mean, it is difficult. He's turning. Number 10 ahead is... Yeah, he's all over the place. Number 10 needs to hold the brakes. I think that's the key thing to take here. Yeah, but on the other hand, number 3 also should be slowing down, and yeah, they are slowing down. They do brake in the end, and that's really poor from number 10. I'd say that's almost entirely on number 10. So yeah, it's really unfortunate for him. He's a lap down now. I mean, through 2 incidents, which I wouldn't say were his fault. So he's having a bad time here. We have a few back markers getting out of the way, and 2 more up ahead. We are coming up to the halfway point of the race. So things definitely brewing here, definitely bubbling under. You see the leader here, Wade, in the orange and blue car. It's really difficult when you come across 2 back markers at once. It's a really dangerous situation, and he looks to be navigating it really, really well there. Gets squeezed against the ball a little bit, and then he decides to go high side. Yeah, number 7, number 12, and then there seems to be a blown engine ahead, which I'm not quite sure how you do from Blake. Number 8. And he ends up really getting in number 12's way. So I think I'm quite lucky. Catch him on a bend. I go low. I mean, I go high. He goes low. And up ahead, number 4, Jimmy, seems to lose it completely. Let's just go back and see what happens here. So looking at number 4. Now, yep, coming up to the corner, they are very much alongside, and number 13 nudges them again. I can understand why he's so desperate to get by here, but I will note that this number 13 I have also tangled with in a previous race. They were a back marker I was trying to get by. They were defending as if their life depended on it, and I ended up crashing out of the race, and I was extremely unhappy. So yeah, I've been in this position before, the position number 4's in now, wanting to get by a back marker. They've got the pace, it's 1-on-1. He gets alongside, he gets bumped, he doesn't want to give it up because he's in danger of losing the lead. And is there even contact the second time? Let's just have a look at this. Oh, might be neck cord. But number 13 hasn't done anything against the sporting code, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. They are perfectly entitled to defend their position on such a short track. But anyway, just to recap that. I mean, I'm lucky here. It looks like number 4 is very graciously just holding their brakes, being predictable, and I managed to get past onto the podium. So we now have the very defendy back marker, and the same thing seems to happen again up here. So I'm going to go on board with number 12 here, sat in P2. And number 7 is keeping to their lane. They have their nose alongside just, and 13, it has to be said, comes across on them. And I think number 12, they brake, but it's the bank part of the corner, and there is very little that they can do to avoid contact. So I'm not sure if, and there I am going sailing straight through. So it looks like number 12 was actually, number 13, beg your pardon, was disqualified for this. So having complained and whined at them for ruining a previous race of mine, they have actually put me on the top step of the podium here, which is quite remarkable. We'll take a look from my cockpit here, how quickly this all unfolds. So from here I can see things seem to be going just fine for everyone. And all of a sudden, there's just mayhem ahead, and oh, I'm fortunate.
Why'd you pull across my nose like that?
Good question, Mark. Very good question. Yeah. If I was any closer onto the back of those, I don't think I could have avoided it.
Why'd you pull across my nose like that?
So it looks like Jimmy has lost a couple of, well, more than a couple of seconds there. So it's the previous top two, Jimmy and Mark, pursuing me here. They've got about 3 and a bit minutes to try and catch me over 15 laps. I get a bit excited, clout the wall when I realise that a win is on, and you can see already that Jimmy's closing the gap. See, 1.1 seconds, 1.0 seconds. He's just a couple of tenths faster than me, which is a hell of a lot over such a short lap. So it's now under a second, the gap here. There are back markers coming up, but they seem to be going at a reasonable pace. But until we have our friend Mick up ahead. See, that's not a good line from me. I'm clearly very nervous at this point. So I've got Mick just over half a second in front, and Jimmy half a second behind, racing me for position C. That I'm getting on the throttle too aggressively there. The car's looking to step out. It's quite a way into the race. The tyres are likely to be worn. And Mick's now pulling away from me. And Jimmy's half a second behind. Things are looking pretty bleak. So I'll switch back to rear chase. Yeah, I mean, Mick's pulling out 15.7 second lap series, very, very quick. I'm sure he would have been in with a shout of the victory without those incidents, but that's street stock for you. I mean, Jimmy's likely to have aerodynamic damage as well, and he's right on my tail. I'm expecting to move here any moment. It's probably worth noting that I did clout Jimmy in practice here when he managed to get alongside me, and I turned in. Fully my fault. So I'm at pains to not do that again. To turn in early, block off that route to him getting alongside. Yep, just being defensive here, and it looks like he has to stop on the brakes there. And he hits the wall. Or does he blow the engine? His engine blows, doesn't it? Let's go back a lap. So he will have had radiator damage. There he is, ready to make the move here. He is really, yeah, and a big old noise in a broken car. Is it the radiator? That is just fascinating. Let's just take one more look. From chase cam. Yeah, I thought he hit the wall, but it's his engine going. Yeah, really unfortunate for Jimmy, who, I have to admit, was faster and deserved the victory. However, that is not what happened. So I've got 3 laps to not give up 1.5 seconds and close out my first ever oval win. A really, really enjoyable race. It really does show that you need a bit of luck, because I would say that Jimmy, Andrew, Mark and Mick probably all faster than me. There it is, the checkered flag. I have to say, I didn't really understand why people raced oval until I did it. It's intense how much passing and door-to-door action there is in 10 minutes. I mean, I love road racing, I'll always love road racing, but sometimes you can have a bad couple of corners and then you're racing on your own for 20 minutes. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the race and the video. Thank you very much for watching.